Universal's Epicuniverse opened in May 2025, promising a new era of thrills in Orlando. The park was a beacon of excitement, drawing visitors from all over the world with its state-of-the-art attractions and immersive experiences. Families, thrill-seekers, and theme park enthusiasts eagerly flocked to experience the magic and innovation that Universal had promised. But on September 17th, that excitement turned to tragedy. The day started like any other, with laughter and joy filling the air, but it would soon be overshadowed by a heartbreaking incident. The incident happened on Stardust Racers, the park's flagship dual-launch coaster in Celestial Park. Known for its breathtaking speed and innovative design, it was a favorite among visitors. That afternoon, 32-year-old Kevin Rodriguez Zavala became unresponsive during the ride. Witnesses reported seeing him slump in his seat as the coaster sped through its twists and turns. The coaster returned to the station not to cheers, but to a medical emergency. Park staff quickly realized the severity of the situation and called for immediate medical assistance. Emergency personnel rushed to help, and Zavala was transported to a nearby hospital. The park's guests watched in stunned silence as the scene unfolded, their day of fun abruptly halted. Despite their efforts, he was pronounced dead, casting a shadow over the park's young history. The joyous atmosphere was replaced with a somber mood as the news spread. News of the tragedy spread quickly, raising questions about safety at the brand-new attraction. Media outlets swarmed the park and concerned visitors sought answers. Stardust Racers, known for its speed and height, was immediately closed as investigators arrived. The ride, once a symbol of excitement, now stood silent and still. The ride's vibrant lights went dark, and its entrance was cordoned off, marking the start of a somber investigation. The park's management pledged full cooperation with authorities. The silence over the coaster became a tribute to a life lost and a community in shock. The tragedy left an indelible mark on Universal's epic universe, reminding everyone of the fragility of life amidst the pursuit of thrills. Kevin Rodriguez Zavala was more than just a headline or a name in the news. He was a vibrant young man whose laughter and kindness touched everyone around him. To his family, he was a beloved son, a cherished friend, and a source of joy whose presence made every gathering brighter. Like so many others that day, Kevin arrived at Epicuniverse with excitement, ready to make memories filled with laughter, adventure, and the simple thrill of being together with loved ones. The park, alive with the sounds of children's laughter and the rush of roller coasters, promised a day of fun, never hinting at the tragedy that would soon unfold. But in an instant, everything changed. The joyful atmosphere was shattered as emergency vehicles raced onto the scene, their lights flashing against the backdrop of stunned onlookers. The ride was quickly closed, and a sense of unease swept through the park. Universal staff responded swiftly, securing the area and guiding guests away from the scene. They worked to provide privacy and support for those directly affected, while also trying to maintain calm among the crowds. The other riders, shaken and confused, were quietly ushered to a private area. Here, they could process what had happened away from the public eye, and authorities could begin their investigation in a more controlled environment. For Kevin's family, a day that began with hope and excitement turned into a nightmare. Their grief and shock played out in front of strangers as the world watched and waited for answers. In the midst of their heartbreak, they faced not only the pain of personal loss, but also the overwhelming presence of authorities and media, each seeking information and statements during their most vulnerable moments. As news of the tragedy spread, the community rallied around the family, offering condolences, support, and small acts of kindness. Vigils were held, and memorials grew as people came together to mourn and remember Kevin. In the aftermath, investigators searched for answers, determined to understand what went wrong on that fateful afternoon. For everyone touched by the tragedy, the search for closure had only just begun. In the aftermath, a multi-agency investigation began, led by the Orange County Sheriff's Office. Detectives secured the scene, interviewed witnesses, and worked to reconstruct the timeline from boarding to the tragic end. The Florida Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services, FDACS, joined, focusing on the ride's mechanical and operational safety. Investigators examined the coaster's structure, restraints, control systems, and maintenance records for any sign of failure. Surveillance footage and operational logs were reviewed to ensure all safety protocols were followed. Universal pledged full cooperation, granting investigators access to the ride, staff, and records. Stardust Racers remained closed, now a silent scene of investigation. Authorities committed to a thorough, transparent process to uncover the cause of the tragedy. The next day, the medical examiner's office released its autopsy findings. Kevin Rodriguez Zavala died from multiple blunt impact injuries. The report was detailed and left no room for doubt about the cause of death. It was a grim confirmation of the severity of the incident. This ruled out a pre-existing medical event and pointed to trauma sustained during the ride. The focus now shifted to understanding how the ride could have caused such injuries. The roller coaster, once a symbol of joy and excitement, was now under intense scrutiny. Crucially, officials confirmed Zavala did not fall from the coaster. His injuries occurred inside the ride vehicle. This revelation was significant as it narrowed down the possible causes of the injuries. The restraints and safety mechanisms were now key areas of investigation. Investigators now had to determine how such severe injuries could happen without ejection. They meticulously examined every aspect of the ride, from the mechanical parts to the design of the seats. The goal was to find any anomalies that could explain the tragic outcome. Did a malfunction or ride force cause him to strike part of the car? The possibility of a mechanical failure was considered, but no immediate evidence pointed to a clear cause. The ride's forces were also analyzed to see if they could have contributed to the injuries. Was there a design flaw? Engineers pored over the blueprints and technical schematics, looking for any design elements that might have been overlooked. The design of the ride was now under the microscope, with every detail being re-evaluated. The autopsy's findings raised urgent questions about the ride's safety systems and design. Officials held press conferences to address public concerns, emphasizing their commitment to uncovering the truth. Safety inspections were ramped up across the park. Roller coasters are engineered to thrill, not harm. This incident challenged those assumptions. The park's reputation was at stake, and the incident cast a shadow over the joy and excitement typically associated with amusement parks. The industry watched closely, knowing the investigation's outcome could have far-reaching implications. Conferences and meetings were held to discuss potential changes in safety protocols and design standards. The final report would be scrutinized by ride manufacturers and park operators worldwide. The findings could lead to significant changes in how rides are designed, maintained, and operated, ensuring such a tragedy never happens again. Universal Orlando responded swiftly, expressing deep sorrow and extending condolences to Zavala's loved ones. The company pledged full cooperation with investigators and emphasized transparency. Universal confirmed Stardust Racers would remain closed until the investigation concluded and safety was assured. This closure preserved the scene for investigators and protected future guests. Universal's crisis response, empathy, cooperation, and decisive action, was textbook for such a tragedy. For a brand built on fun and safety, a guest's death is the worst-case scenario. The park's focus shifted to supporting the investigation and the victim's family. The path forward would be shaped by the investigation's findings and the need to restore public trust. Stardust Racers was the crown jewel of Celestial Park, a dual-launch racing coaster with two intertwining tracks. With speeds up to 62 miles per hour and a dramatic celestial spin inversion, it was designed to dazzle thrill seekers. The ride's safety warnings and height requirements were standard, aiming to protect guests with health concerns. Years of engineering and testing went into its creation, including thousands of test cycles before opening. The tragedy called this process into question, prompting a deep review of every safety element. Investigators focused on high-force elements like the celestial spin to see if they played a role. The ride's design, restraints, and operational procedures all came under renewed scrutiny. The incident forced a re-examination of what it means for a ride to be truly safe. Witness accounts brought the tragedy into sharp focus. Maria Fernandez, a fellow rider, described the chaos as the train returned. A young girl's screams for help, Zavala slumped and bleeding, his leg apparently broken. The festive atmosphere vanished, replaced by panic and fear. Park employees rushed to the scene, quickly clearing the area for emergency responders. Riders were escorted to a private area for interviews, shielded from the public eye. Fernandez's account personalized the tragedy, turning a news story into a human experience. The memory of that day would haunt those present, a stark reminder of the risks behind the thrills. For many, the fun of the ride was replaced by a lasting sense of loss. The incident left an indelible mark on everyone who witnessed it. While Zavala's death was the most severe, it wasn't the only medical event at Epic Universe. Florida's major parks self-report ride-related injuries requiring hospital stays over 24 hours. In June, a 63-year-old man with pre-existing conditions reported dizziness after riding Stardust Racers. Other attractions, like Hiccup's wing gliders, also saw incidents involving guests with health issues. These reports are rare compared to the millions of safe rides, but each is scrutinized after a tragedy. Most incidents involved guests with known health risks, but the fatality prompted a deeper review. Investigators examined past reports for patterns or overlooked safety issues. Every incident, no matter how minor, became part of the larger safety conversation. The tragedy reignited debate over Florida's unique theme park safety system. Major parks like Universal are exempt from routine state inspections, relying on their own safety teams. Parks conduct daily and annual checks, but the state only investigates after serious incidents. Parks must report deaths or serious injuries, with the FDAC stepping in when tragedy strikes. This self-regulation system is controversial. Supporters cite expertise, critics warn of oversight gaps. After a fatality, calls for stricter state inspections often resurface. The outcome of the Stardust Racers investigation could influence future regulations. The incident forced the industry and lawmakers to reconsider how theme park safety is enforced.